Munaye Swaha. Om Muni Muni Maha 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 Munaye Swaha. Let us all make prostrations to the triple jewels together. Kindly be seated. Let us all recollect the kindness of Triple Jewels, and with a full gratitude in heart, let us all place our palms together to request Geshe to give teaching according to the well wishes and capacities of the students. Geshe, kindly give us the teaching.
I go for refuge and to enlighten to the Buddha, the Dhamma, the Sangha. By my accumulations, the practice of giving and so forth, may I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. I go for refuge and to enlighten to the Buddha, the Dhamma, the Sangha. By my accumulations of the practice of giving and so forth, may I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. I go for refuge and to enlighten to the Buddha, the Dhamma, the Sangha. By my accumulations of the practice of giving and so forth, may I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. Sanje Joda Zoge Jonam Lai Chanjo Pado Dane Gyabso Che Dage Jinso Kebe Tsonam Ge Dola Benjere Sanje Dubara Isho Sanje Joda Zoge Jonam Lai Chanjo Pado Dane Gyabso Che Dage Jinso Kebe Tsonam Ge Dola Benjere Sanje Dubara Isho Sanje Joda Zoge Jonam Dane Gyabso Che Dage Jinso Kebe Tsonam Ge Dola Benjere Sanje Dubara Isho Om Ye Dharma Hetu Prabhavam Hetum Tesham Dathagato Yavatat Tesham Chayo Nirodha Evam Bhati Mahashramana Yesva Om Ye Dharma Hetu Prabhava Hetum Tesham Nathagato Yavatat Tesham Jayo Nirodha Evam Bhati Mahashramana Yesva Om Ye Dharma Hetu Prabhava Hetum Tesham Dathagato Yavatat Tesham Chayo Nirodha Evam Bhati Mahashramana Yesva all phenomena arise from causes. The causes are taught by the Tathagata. The cessation of
The cessation of the causes as well is taught by the great seer.
Okay, we are on page 211. Page 211, this citation and the next paragraph, paragraph number 3. Based on just this intrinsic nature, the referent object of the way that ignorance apprehends things, as explained above, essential schools, Buddhists and non-Buddhists, reify many different things. When you negate the referent of ignorance as cognitive process, the referent of ignorance as cognitive process meaning, what the ignorance, they cognitively grasp at, you completely stop all of these tenet-driven reifications. While the tenet systems, they exaggerate their own versions of the existence. For example, like the Chittamatra fabricating Adivijnana as intrinsically real. Likewise, the subconscious mind is intrinsically real. Likewise, some of the philosophical schools, they posit the inexpressible nature of things, neither as permanent nor as impermanent, so forth. All this will be erratically rejected. Now you completely stop all of these tenet-driven deifications as though you cut a tree at its root. Therefore, those who have the faculty of wisdom, so those who truly value the wisdom and who truly understand what this wisdom is, should understand that the referent object of innate ignorance is the basic object negation. So, say people have different views. For example, like how the Sautrantika believe in intrinsic reality, or let's say that the that impermanent phenomena as ultimately existent and so forth. So these are all the reified meaning they philosophically they create their own tenet systems. Whereas when we talk about rejecting the intrinsic reality, when you talk about eradicating the ignorance, we need to identify object negation as apprehended by the innate self-grasping, not what is philosophically the reified. Okay, so therefore those who have the faculty of wisdom should understand that the referent object of innate ignorance is the basic object negation. That is the main basic of the object negation, and should not devote themselves merely to refuting imaginary constructs or the philosophically imagined constructs that are imputed only by the advocates of philosophical tenets. Rather, it must be contemplated. You try to get some understanding of emptiness. Based on that, then you'll just see that in your own, the natural thinking, when anger arises, when craving arises, when you feel sad and so forth, self-grasping, how does it happen? How does it happen? And then on these, so as I said earlier, the self-grasping ignorance falls under which category? Which of the three kinds of miseries? Self-grasping ignorance falls under which kind of the miseries? Pervasive conditioned suffering. So what I said is that this is very important. Of the three, the first one, suffering. Suffering, one, we experience it. Number two, not only we know that it is there, we also know that is suffering, number one. Number two, suffering change. We experience it. We know that it is there, but we don't know that it is suffering. We see it as a happiness, but we know that it exists. It's coming. For example, like cheesecake, you eat it, and it's nice. The third one, pervasive conditioned suffering, let alone seeing that as suffering, we even don't experience it. We don't even know the presence of this. Forget about identifying that as suffering. Only those people who are smart doesn't mean that very intelligent, only those people who are meritorious. I thought there's an elderly man going like this. Okay, so only those people who are meritorious, and then who think about emptiness, who learn about emptiness, and then think about the opposite of emptiness in your own mind. So these people gradually identify. Not only identify, then they know that this is the mastermind. This is the mastermind for all the miseries. So this is how we need to know the three kinds of suffering. So the identifying, the innate self-grasping ignorance, this is so important. So for us, when we go through sad moments of the emotional turmoils, like sadness or deep anguish or anger or agitation and so forth, so there, just try to observe your mind and how the mind appears. And still you may not, even though you are a little exposed to emptiness, you may not be able to feel. Then look at the contrast. Contrast this with what it is like if you see the emptiness nature of the self, what it's like. And then you will see, only by seeing the same little bit of emptiness nature, then you see the opposite. Then, oh, now this is the meaning of self-grasping ignorance. So this is how we have to go. I remember one time, Venerable Chisindama Rinpoche, who was also Geshe colleague of His Holiness, and His Holiness the Dalai Lama, and Venerable Chisindama Rinpoche, in his last days of his life, His Holiness received teachings from him, and particularly one which we included in this book, the identifying the mother, who is on the emptiness. Emptiness. So this Venerable Geshe Rinpoche, who was the common abbot of both the monastery universities here. So where we are here is Drepung Loseling Monastery, and Venerable Rinpoche, he belongs to the Drepung Gomang Monastery. And there's a common abbot of the two. So he was a common abbot for many years. And I got the opportunity to receive many teachings from him. Extremely meritorious. Usually, if you're from, say, the Drepung Loseling Monastery, we don't really go there to receive teachings from the teachers from the other monastery university, because your monastery already has so many great teachers. And then likewise, others, they don't come here because they have their own teachers, many teachers, accomplished teachers. So it is my karma somehow to be connected with Chisindama Rinpoche. And then when I go to Dharamsala to receive teachings from His Holiness, where Chenmo was my main host. Recent, he was my main host. He has a small room, then he would vacate his room, give it to me, and he'll just stay with somebody else. So it's for many years, very beautiful days. So then coming down, then I had many questions on emptiness. And then I straight away go to, no appointment, I straight away go to Rinpoche's place. And then oftentimes in Venerable Geshe, the Pandit Rinpoche also offer, Venerable Geshe Pandit Rinpoche, you can go like this. He will send his nephew to call me for lunch. Usually it's for lunch. So therefore, that way I'm very, very fortunate. As Venerable Geshe Pandit Rinpoche, they called me for lunch, and during the lunchtime, say lunch is at 12. 12, 11. Okay, 11, and Rinpoche would send a message through his nephew that I should come at 10. So from 10 to 11, what should I do? Sometimes I didn't have any question. So 1:10, so I just innocently went there and sat there, and I had no question to ask, and Rinpoche was not saying anything. Rinpoche was just reading text, and I was sitting there. I felt so suffocated. So what to do? I felt so suffocated. What to do? The food is not coming. If the thought comes, then my mind can be distracted. So I have no question. So then later, I realized, oh, okay, but I have questions. No, I should have some questions prepared. So whenever Gyalmjo called me, I would quickly go through some questions and go there. If you can ask 1 or 2 questions, that's good enough. Then Gyalmjo would just keep exploring, saying, I put a question, then Gyalmjo would give the answer, and he would ask more questions to this, and then would give more answers, questions. Then is ongoing. If you don't ask question, he would not utter a word. He would just sit like this, and I sit like this. Okay. So, I went to ask question. I'm very fortunate. In fact, from the Gomang monastery, all the big shots, abbot, former abbots, disciplinarian, and all these very senior Geshes, they even did not dare to go to receive teaching from when they were out of incredible great respect for him. Whereas this young boy just go directly. And the attendant is so kind. Okay, can go. He direct access to me. He give direct access. So I would go there. And then I would ask many questions. Then one day, just told me that, Dorji, you do one thing. You have many questions. You do one thing. Go to your room, lock the door from inside, learn how to sit down, and go inside. He just said it. He just said it, and then, which means meditate. Then all these young debaters, they have something to say. If I ask this question to him, although he doesn't answer, he'll say something. So what I said is that, sir, that's true. But they say, when you meditate, there can be 2 innate thoughts coming. 2 innate thoughts, which I cannot distinguish. So therefore I'm asking you. So he said, that's right. So, okay, these are beautiful days. Now this day's over. Okay, so the identifying the innate self-grasping, this is very important. And finally, it is about our own well-being. Let's not forget it. Okay, so continue reading this. The last paragraph. Refuting the object negation in this way is not an ideal pursuit. It's not just like for the sake of debate, for the sake of argument. No, this is not for that you have nothing to do and then you just engage yourself in these things. No, this is very important. Why? You will see that living beings or the samsaric beings are bound in cyclic existence by a wrong conceptual consciousness. That is the object negation as its object. So the ignorance is there, where the intrinsic existence as the object negation, that is its object. And then you refute this object, this intrinsic object. What binds all living beings in cyclic existence is the innate ignorance. Acquired ignorance exists only among those who advocate philosophical tenets. So you just imagine, as we talk about the acquired afflictions and the innate afflictions, acquired ignorance and innate afflictions, innate ignorance. So, for example, say, just check, just see how the emotions work. Your friends and people who are not exposed to philosophy, just check with them. Even look at the animals, look at the cats, dogs, their emotions. Just see the stance and the attitude. You can see that. Just check that. Even the tiny insects, check. There's a sense of fear. The moment you touch it, they pretend as though they're dead. They play dead. They play dead because they don't want to die. They see the self as intrinsically real. And this I must be protected. So you just observe all these things. These will help us to see how the innate self-grasping ignorance operates. And within yourself as well, when you become angry, when you become sad. So this is very important. Okay. So it says, obviously then you then refute it. What binds all living beings in cyclic existence is innate ignorance. Acquired ignorance exists only among those who advocate philosophical tenets, so it cannot be the root of cyclic existence. The acquired the afflictions and the ignorance, they are not the root of cyclic existence. Okay, my question to you is that what did you say? Only the innate affliction, innate self-grasping ignorance is the root of samsara, the root of cyclic existence. Acquired afflictions are not, acquired ignorance is not the root of the samsara. You agree? You get some sense? Sure? Okay. Let's say that if I ask Savatantrika Madhyamaka, or let's say Chittamatra, okay, better would be South Tantrika school. If I ask the tenant holder, advocate of the South Tantrika school, does the self exist objectively? What will they say? What will they say? Yes. So that acceptance is what? According to you, according to you, that is self-grasping ignorance. Yes, no. Viewing the self, viewing the person as objectively real is self-grasping ignorance. Yes, no. What is that? Acquired or innate? Okay, it is not both. Don't say it is both. It has both. These are different. I have two hands. I am not two hands. I'm not in the first one. I'm not hands. I am. Then let her know I'm being two. I am not two hands. I have two hands. You agree? Likewise, the belief that the person exists intrinsically or objectively by the South China school, it can have both. It is not both. Why it is not both? Because the innate cannot be the acquired cannot be innate. You get it? It has both. It has both meaning, like the phenomena, it is both permanent, impermanent. You get it? Phenomena is not permanent, impermanent. You agree? Phenomena is permanent, impermanent. Phenomena is permanent. Okay, phenomena is permanent. How many of you say phenomena is permanent? Raise hands. Phenomena is permanent. In general. This is not my question. My question, phenomena, is it permanent, impermanent? Permanent. Okay, when is it permanent? Permanent, impermanent. Phenomena. Or don't say can be. Can be means it has. I'm not asking about how many kinds it has. This is not my question.
But
is it? My question is phenomena. Is it permanent or impermanent?
Permanent.
Okay, permanent. How many say phenomena is permanent? Resonance. Okay. Give me the answer. Permanent, impermanent phenomena. Again, this is saying that phenomena is permanent. Phenomena is permanent. Okay. Is permanent. Okay. My question is, how is it permanent? Okay, how is it permanent? How is it permanent? Okay. Get this said, it is permanent because it's a mere appearance to the conceptual mind. Okay, let me follow questions there. Okay, so now, how is phenomena permanent? If you don't give the answer, then Mana Vijayala will give the answer. Hey, no, you have to give the answer. I know his answer. I'm checking if his answer one or more. But it can't. So what he's saying is that that phenomena is beyond the apprehension of the sensory consciousness. It's mere what appears to the concept. What about the mind?
No.
Mind is impermanent. It is beyond the sensory consciousness apprehension. One shows you there, mind. So they have one standard answer which they are feeling a little embarrassed to give. This is a very standard answer, because the follow-up question will make them get stuck. Okay, Manda Vijayla, what is the answer?
Geshe, I'm just trying to regurgitate something that we asked you, and maybe, if we remember the answer correctly. Because I think phenomena per se is an object of knowledge of the mind.
Yes.
Yeah. So from what I remember, it's like if you try to look for the phenomena on the object, you can't really find it. and so, maybe you conclude that it's imputed by the mind.
So, in a way, as far as what I could remember, it means I'm not too convinced. You're getting it?
No, I'm not joking, convinced that I understand.
I'm joking. Oh, yeah. Vijayla?
I don't have an answer.
Are you sure?
To know what phenomena includes both permanent and impermanent. So to actually cognize phenomena, it's impossible to cognize with our sense consciousness, because this includes both permanent and impermanent. So it can only cognize with our conceptual mind. So it's only an object of our conceptual mind. So in the end, it's the same answer.
Okay, let's see. Your eye consciousness seeing the flower. What makes you think that it doesn't cognize the phenomena of the flower? With eye consciousness seeing the flower, what makes you think that it doesn't cognize the phenomena of the flower? Why not? Geshe is not there. Okay, so we have Ningjala there from Sara College. Okay, now all the Sara people, they're watching you.
They are.
Mandala is looking at you, and Agila is looking at you. Shenzam is looking at you. Yes.
The Shejatang Tapaniki Shidunyovichi.
Okay, so this is answered that these two, this Geshe and the Geshe, they should be giving it the answer that Ningjala gave. This is a very standard answer you're going to get. So this is what I want to hear. Okay, so the answer given is that phenomena in general, but we don't qualify that as in general. It is implied. Phenomena is permanent because it has a common locus point with the permanence. Let me repeat it. It is permanent. Phenomena as a subject, it is permanent because it has a common locus point with permanent phenomena. Because that's the object which is a phenomena as well as permanent. So therefore, phenomena in general should be permanent. So the debate usually people can ask is that do you mean to say that the phenomenon is also impermanent? Because the phenomena and impermanence, these two have a common locus point. For example, like a pot, the house, your body, the mind, and so forth. So, Gilishambala, what answer you would give? Huh? Chikbare. So look, the same answer, standard answer. So Gilishambala is saying it's the same answer. So they say that no, it's not necessary. Even if you have a common locus point, even if the phenomena has a common locus point with the impermanence, phenomena means it is not impermanent. But if you have a common locus point with the permanent, it should be permanent. So this is a very standard answer. You getting it? Okay. So Yes. Only you have the answer? Mike. Is it the standard answer or original answer?
I don't know if it's even the right answer. I was thinking along the lines of the definition of permanent phenomena. There's no momentary change. So it is imputed by the mind, but there is no momentary change in phenomena itself as a generality.
Why not?
When I just think about it, it doesn't change from moment to moment.
Why not? No, phenomena, say, phenomena of the flower.
And that would be an instance of phenomena.
Phenomena flower, is it permanent, impermanent?
Flower is impermanent.
Not flower.
Phenomena
of flower is very different. Flower and the phenomenon of flower, these are very different.
For me, it looks like it's flower. It's the same as flower. It's not. Yeah.
Phenomena of flowers, permanent, impermanent. Medawa sheja, tawar medawar. No, the medawa sheja, tawar medawar.
Tawais.
Hey, sonamla. Tawai is permanent. That is the standard answer. It's permanent. If you attach flower, the phenomena with any existent thing, be it impermanent, permanent, whatever, phenomena of flower, phenomena of person, phenomena, whenever you bring this qualifier, phenomena, in front of the word of object, be it impermanent, overall it becomes permanent. You're getting it? Phenomena. Okay. Ladanla, you have answer? Okay. Raise hand. Raise hand.
So, Kishla, the definition of the phenomena is what is cognized by a valid cognition. And this definition involves three things. As the agent, and the two, the object, and the three, the act of cognition. So the act of cognition, if it is substance, after removing the object of cognition should be left. And on the contrary, when the object is removed, the act of cognition disappears. So proving that this act of cognition does not have a substance, so what lacks substance cannot undergo change, and what lacks change is unchanging. What is unchanging existence should be permanent. Therefore, phenomena is permanent.
Okay, this is a very good reflection. The phenomena, how you define it. She's saying, so the definition of, so we need to work with the definition of the phenomena. The phenomena is loyu dusharuma. Loyu dusharuma is the something, a thing, which can be the object of a mind, This is the definition of the phenomena. And a thing which can be the which can be the object, or which is worthy to be the object of a mind. So here we have the thing. It has three components: thing, then the mind, and to be the object, worthy of the object. So there are three things there. So these three things are not all on the object, on the flower. So the flower is a phenomena. When I understand the phenomena, it has three components. The phenomena per se, it has three components. That this flower is a thing which is the worthy to be the object of a mind. So the mind, object, and so the thing, and worthy to be the object. So there are three things there, and these three things are not in one object, one thing. The flower is here, the mind is here. So this whole entity. So how many things are there in my hand? One. This is very important. Okay. So this is what Launa said. This is very important. How many things are in my hand? Only one thing is there. So what is that? The flower. So the phenomenon of the flower is there. Answer is Yes, phenomenal flower is there, impermanence of flower is there, functionality of the flower is there, all these things these are all different isolates. So phenomenon of flower is there. So how do you understand the phenomenon of flower? It means you have to work with the definition. It means a thing which is worthy to be an object of a mind. So mind is here. So this overall definition, if it is if the phenomenon is substance, impermanent, it should be substance. If it is substance, there's only one substance in my hand. So it should be there. So if it is there, so anything you cut off, all the other things, your mind, remove the mind, then the phenomenon should be still there. If it is substance, you agree? Even if the mind is not there, for South Atlantic school, you're getting it? So with respect to the definition of flower, definition of impermanent, what is that? Definition of the phenomena, existence, so forth. So this is all well defined in South Atlantic school. So what is defined there, this is what we can take to the Prasangika, Chitamatra, Swatara Madhyamika, so forth. So according to that definition, substance means which is accepted by South Atlantic school. So if phenomenon is not permanent, if it is impermanent, it should be substance. So for South Atlantica, what is substance is ultimate truth. Impermanent phenomena is ultimate truth. So it should be substantial. If it is substance, substance is only one substance. You have only one substance. If it's substance, anything which is anything which is like other than the substance, you remove them. For example, like the flowers here, substance. I leave it here, and we all leave this hall. The flowers still stay here, it will not be affected. Do you agree? Because there is a substance here. So whereas you imagine a flower, and you leave the hall, and I distract you instantly, because it doesn't have substance. I said that, oh, you think of a house. Think of the house, instantly the flower disappears. Appearance of the flower disappears. So that is not substance. So here, if the substance is there, you leave it, you go away, it will still remain intact. It will still remain intact. So if the phenomenon of the flower is substance, impermanent, it should be substance. If it is substance, when you remove the mind, it should remain there. But if you remove the mind, what happens? The definition disappears. Definition is a thing which is worthy to be the object of a mind. Where the mind is gone, then the thing worthy of object of a mind doesn't make any sense. So that definition disappears. When definition disappears, definitum disappears. What's the definitum? Phenomenon disappears. So therefore, the thing is that the phenomena is not substance, it is a non-substantial thing. So what is non-substantial thing? That is a permanent, it is not impermanent. Okay, very good, thank you. So with this, we keep going down. So it cannot be the root of cyclic existence. Okay, my question to you is that the South Atlantic school says that the flower is intrinsically real. So that, according to Prasangika, is ignorance or not? Huh? Today is a little warmer? Huh? Okay, so it is ignorance. So this, the South Atlantic believing that flower is intrinsically real is acquired ignorance or innate ignorance? It has both. You're getting it? But because philosophically speaking, they learned that whatever exists should necessarily be intrinsic. This is what they learned. So that is acquired. So the flower should be the intrinsic. That is acquired. Whereas say somebody just offers the flower. Oh, the flower is so beautiful. The moment you say the flower is so beautiful, not in relative terms, but it's so beautiful. Already within that there is some belief in intrinsic flower. That is innate. So innate emotions coming, which arises from the self-grasping, that is innate. Whereas philosophically you learn about it and then you say flower is intrinsic, that is acquired. So it has both. My question is now, the belief that the flower is intrinsic real, belief that the flower is intrinsically real and they say the acquired, on my question, acquired ignorance, apprehending the flower as intrinsically real. Is this ignorance or not? Acquired ignorance, apprehending flower as intrinsically real. Acquired, not innate. Is that the root of samsara or not? No? Resent? No? Resent? Okay, what about others? Who did not raise hands? Not too sure. So till I'm very certain, I'll not give the answer. Okay, so they want to wait and see. What others have to say? Okay, so let's say that if you say this is not the root of cyclic existence, I would say it is the root of cyclic existence, because when this ignorance, which ignorance? Acquired ignorance, grasping, apprehending the flower as intrinsically real. This ignorance, this is directly in opposition to the wisdom which is the emptiness. It should be the root of cyclic existence, because it is directly in opposition with the wisdom of emptiness with respect to the object of apprehension. Okay, what happens? Okay, let me say this once more. So what he said is that the acquired ignorance, grasping at the flower as intrinsically real, or the self as intrinsically real, that should be the root of cyclic existence, root of samsara, because it is directly in opposition with the wisdom of emptiness with respect to the object of apprehension. Shila? Yes, no? Not sure. Anyone else? Okay, pray out. Raise hand, pray out. He was a young man. Raise hand, pray out. Raise hand.
Geshe, the answer would be no.
To which question?
That it is acquired, the answer to that would be no. It has to be innate ignorance, which is
okay.
opposite.
So I try to defend my point, saying that this acquired ignorance, grasping at the self, the person as intrinsically real, should be the root of samsara, because this ignorance is directly in opposition with the wisdom of emptiness, which with respect to the object of apprehension.
Right. So the reason it is no is, and why it has to be innate, is that when you realize emptiness through the correct object of negation, it has to be instantaneous and immediate, because if it's acquired, then it's again philosophical. So it won't be instantaneous and immediate, because an innate thing, when you negate it, then it will be instantaneous.
Okay, so what Prarag is saying is innate should be instantaneous, or root of samsara should be instantaneous.
No, I'm saying innate should be something you know, you don't need to acquire, and which is the intrinsicality, innate intrinsicality.
Okay, let me ask once more. The acquired ignorance, grasping at the self as intrinsic real, why is it not the root of samsara?
Because it is not innate, like I said.
Why should it be innate?
Because if it is not innate, then number one, it will be the wrong object of negation, because if it's not innate.
No. So this is just perfect. What is the object of apprehension of this mind?
You said acquired.
No, what's the object of negation of this mind? The person
Intrinsicality.
as intrinsically real.
Intrinsicality.
So there's object negation. There's a perfect object negation. There's nothing wrong in it. You agree?
Yes.
There's nothing wrong in it. So therefore, it apprehends the object negation. So why it is not the root of samsara? Okay.
No.
Venerable Chunzula. Venerable Chunzula, recent. Mike.
Sorry, thank you. It's not because if...
Okay, let us listen to this seriously. My question is, why they say, for example, like you remember what we discussed earlier, Lama said, the particle particle viewing or apprehending particle particle is intrinsically real. This is purely philosophically contrived. You're getting it? That cannot be the root of samsara. But I'm saying something else, which a philosophically acquired. But what it apprehends is that the person is intrinsically real. Acquired ignorance viewing the person as intrinsically real. Why is this not the root of samsara?
Okay, I'm going to try. I would say because even if the object of negation is a self intrinsically real, if because it's acquired, if I remove it by reasoning, I'm still in samsara, so it's not the root of samsara.
Okay, then it applies to it applies to the innate also, because innate, when you reject the object apprehension of this innate, still you're in samsara, because to attain, at that point you just realize emptiness. You realize emptiness, still you have to go gate, para, some gate, bodhi, more. So till you reach the level of bodhi swaha, you are still in samsara. Okay. But the Tenzi Ginzumla, Siana, resents. Okay, where is the young man?
Здравствуйте, Гешела. Я не уверена, но я думаю, что неведение, цепляющееся за самосущее существование, не может быть приобретенным. Оно обязательно должно быть врожденным. Спасибо.
Venerable Geshe-la, I think that self-grasping ignorance cannot be acquired. It should be innate.
Okay. Self-grasping ignorance, no doubt, it has two kinds, acquired and innate. There are two. This is a fact. I'm not creating it. It is a factual matter. You're getting it? Now the questions of the two, why the acquired cannot be the root of samsara. This is my question. Okay, the Srindavala from IBD. Okay, Srindavala, listen. Over there. Okay, now IBD people are watching you. All Sara people are watching you. Yes.
Kislan, this one would Kisi Dinjin Kunda, this Ra, Kovizawa Inasra, Dinjin Kunda, the Judeloga, Gure Kansala Matope, Dinjin Kunda, the Yomares. Kisi Dinjin Kunda, the Judeloga Gula Matomena, any Judeloga Machoki Kansato, and Kwane Tartare Beres. Kachini, Kisi, the Dinjin Kunda, the Kovizawa Shana, Kachini Konsola, the Dinjin Kunda, the Yomares. Kachini, Konzo, Judeloga Gube Kansa, Main Beaches.
Okay. Wow. Listen, Matin. Hey, Matin. Surgery. Okay, so what the Jocelyn Dawla is saying, let me share with you. Okay, what he said is that this acquired one exists only in those people who are influenced by philosophical studies. So because it is only with the philosophical studies, if there is a root of samsara, it is absent in those people who are not influenced by the philosophy. So those not influenced by those who are not influenced by the philosophy, are they already liberated from samsara? Because they don't have this, the root of samsara. Because you said that the acquired one is the root of samsara. Okay. Okay, so how many of you say that this makes sense? Okay, now follow-up question. Follow-up question. Okay, follow-up question is that, okay, let's say, okay, the innate self-grasping, I'm not talking about the acquired now, innate self-grasping of the practitioner on the path of accumulation. Did you understand the topic of discussion? Innate self-grasping of the practitioner on the path of accumulation. That ignorance, is it not the root of samsara? The solam bejugi denzi lengi chujin ani kaso koesa mayimba tas nengarja
solam bejugi denzi lengi de koesa mayimba dana denzi lengi de jichiris
mayimba ta solamba mayim shimba gyule mebechi an shimba tarsawada
shimba
solamba mayim shimba samakora tarsawada kuzu gyule mebechi. Okay, so my debate is that, look, I beat to finish. So all the IBT people, they're very sad. I'm also from IBT. And Geshe is very sad. He's also from IBT. Okay, so what I said is that he said that acquired self-grasping ignorance, this cannot be the root of samsara, because if it is, then those people who are not influenced by philosophy, they do not have this acquired. So therefore, do you mean to say they're already liberated? Because they don't have that. So my question to him is that self-grasping, innate self-grasping of the one in the path of the accumulation, is that the root of samsara or not? He said, yes, of course, yes. I said, it should not be, because do you mean to say that those people who are not on the path of accumulation, they're already liberated? Because they don't have this ignorance which is in the path of accumulation. So he said, okay, keep up. Yeah, just the that's it, Sursumare. Susan, okay, he said, yes, your Tibet actually defeated. Okay. Yeah, there. Dangzi Gunda Shujens. Timainde, Denzi Gunda Shujens.
Kugian Zawa Yuvic.
Ah.
Kugian Zawa Yuvic.
Kugian Zawa Yuvic. Right. Yute.
Denzi Lengi the team Vic.
Denzi Tisawa Inde.
Yimbata Dambo Mazona Tasuzu Dudagi Dila Trota Oragi. Down the Zamba, that Nimongi Wangi Drota Narekarin, that's Sushima Yiji Kiora. Sushima Yiji Dila Tenzingi Shirishiora.
Sushima Yiji Kiora, you Tenzi Jones Songwata.
Chitana Gorsta, Rimbachana
Mogota. So look, he's trying to be very smart. Go in two directions. Go at the Mogota.
Go, Rangi Tenzing so you chop.
Gunda Harim, but someone go at her.
Chop.
Gunda Harine.
Chop.
When the cow Mindula, so not cow Yerva. Cow Mindula, Tenzing. Like me. So Gunda Harim by ne. Cow Yomar, the Gasama Ture, lovely Dizzy, think you're going to song water. Igula.
Gula the song with Chavri.
Songola Natani Chibarwa. The Casutanda Chame, the Muslim Dizzy, there's a thing you're going to song with.
Gorgon.
Also, the Digitsawa the Dino,
so
the Lapina, the Hengi Teleam, Kundagun Song Wisher.
Hengi let the woman.
Mazuku Gundamon Song Savishi Joma.
Digi,
세디기 랭게 디슈젠스 데 군다 몽ul 송사웨실
겨워마죠.
송사라 세디기 랭게 디슈제 디자오 그래서 마임바타
지
마임도 코에자오 주위실
겨워마죠.
군다 몽ul 송사웨실 겨워마시로
겨워마죠.
겨워마시 캐나다도 아니
말하게
세 군다도 슈인디 마인데 코에자 몽ul 송실라서
거기야 싸워요.
Okay, so this is deal here. So what he's saying is that the acquired one and the innate. So why the acquired one is not the root of cyclic existence is because that it is not the root because there's another root to this. Another root is the innate. So my question to him is that the innate that we have today, so this is preceded by preceded by the acquired in the past lives. So that is the self-grasping ignorance which preceded the innate, today's innate. So that should be the root before this root. Hello.
싸워레스. 모두 소원 좀게 싸워인 거 뭐래 싸워레스.
싸워라.
모두 소원 좀게 싸워 뭐레스. 변은 추기다 가서기다.
행게 군다디 싸워 많이 서.
군다디.
그래서 많이 서. 그래서 많이인데.
죄송 크게 싸워시.
싸워 하래래.
댄진 행게.
순서 행게 들려야 군다고는 송 열어.
모두 소원 좀게 싸워인 거예요 뭐레스.
아니 가 싸워 많이인데.
그래서 자외 시된 시에지다. 그 유인바 삼으면 자외 시된 시기 말이야.
말 시된 마시대.
그래서 진정 군다 기양 시된 심바시.
딜라그메. 디기 딘디 물어봐. 다른 디지 행게체. 디기 교원오메기 딘신디기 디시된 시기로.
디시.
저도 다른 게 디지 행게 주지 그래서 많이 봤다. 디기 싸움만 주시.
겨.
오메 행게 되시.
겨.
아니 오메 이 싸워진 거 손바서 그런 싸움 많이 비켜고면도.
늘 겨워요.
손수 군다 주시도 많이인데.
군다데 자외 디네가라 삼랐다.
많이인데래. 이 김새 캐나 김새 가리고 삼월로 행게란 삼월 다른 게 행게들 싸움시. Okay, so what he's saying is that the innate, the acquired should necessarily be preceded by innate. So what is that? The innate, today's innate, for that also there should be another root because the innate of the past should precede the today's innate. So today's innate, is it not the root of samsara? Then he ended up with a smile. Okay. Okay, Brunnagarji, raise hand.
So, though this wisdom does oppose this intrinsically ignorance which is perceiving intrinsic reality, this can be removed on path of seeing itself, because innate afflictions are removed only on path of meditation. If this was so, if this was the root of samsara, then we would have gate and bodhiswa, parasamgate and bodhiswa. There would be no need of parasamgate.
Okay. So this also, okay, the word Ranagar is saying is that if the acquired is a root, acquired is abandoned at the time of the path of seeing, then the path of meditation becomes useless. To how many of you did make some sense? Raise hands? Very good. Okay, so then the follow-up question is that gade paragate, then what next? Parasangade. What is parasangade? Path of meditation. Path of meditation is split into 10. Split in 10. So what is abandoned by each one of these 10? They're all innate. So the first innate to be abandoned by the first of the 10 divisions, is that not the root of samsara? Because according to you, it should not be. Number one, according to Lama Tsongkhapa, it should be because it's the innate self-grasping ignorance. And according to you, it should not be because even if you abandon it, still you're in samsara. Because bodhiswa are yet to come. Like acquired, abandoned, still you have the innate left, so therefore you have not bodhiswa Not yet, so therefore it is not the root. This is what you said. So now with the same logic, innate, it has 10 divisions. First innate removed, so remaining innate left. So the first innate, is this not the root of samsara, this question?
It is, but it requires more merit to remove the other innates.
That is fully agree with
because
you.
that merit is not there.
No, this is not about, this is a very different, it's a shift in the focus of the debate. What you are explaining is, you're not explaining how the acquired is not the root of samsara. You are explaining how the other layers, the second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, how they are more difficult to be abandoned in comparison with the first one. It is the very different debate. This is not what is being covered here. Okay, here, Amanda.
Can we say that for acquired ignorance, because it's learned, it can also be sort of unlearned or whatever. But for innate ignorance, it's been with us since beginningless time. And so when we are able to eradicate that, and the afflictions don't come back, that's when we can cleanse our mental defilements. So that is the root. Whereas like acquired is like not very stable.
Okay, follow is allowed, not allowed. Okay, say today's acquired ignorance. Did it come from the beginner's time?
No.
No. So it was not from the beginner's time. It's freshly today. So is that the root of samsara or not?
No.
No, it's not.
No.
Today you don't have the...
No, so with this acquired, I still have the innate that's always with me.
This is what I'm saying.
Yeah. So that is the root. This is not a root.
Which one is not?
The acquired one.
No, I don't. I said acquired. I said innate. Today's innate. Today's innate. Was it there yesterday?
Yes.
Oh. 2026. Innate of the 2026. Was it exist in 2025?
Okay, so today's innate is different from yesterday's innate.
Yes, very different. Different. It was not there in 2025. So that it was not from since beginner's time.
It is?
Because it was not there, because it came today. Only today is fresh. Forget about beginner's time. It was not even in 2025.
It's cumulative. So it's like today's is the stock of everything that we carry since beginningless time. Today is the stock of all the innate ignorance that we've been carrying since beginningless time.
Okay, today is stock of?
All the innate ignorance that we have been carrying since beginningless time.
So the 2025 ignorance is also today with you. That is gone, disintegrated.
It's not disintegrated, she says.
It's not disintegrated. Are you sure? Okay, give it to me again. Okay. Again, ready?
Okay.
Okay. So let's say that the self-grasping ignorance of 2026, is it the root cause of samsara or not?
Yes.
Yes.
It is an innate one.
Innate one. Okay, yes. What with the acquired one?
The acquired one is not.
Why not?
Because acquired one is imputed through the philosophical study.
So what's the problem?
So it can be. So it is not natural born, natural with us since beginner's time.
Why should it be natural?
Have been created since beginner's time.
Okay, it should be from the beginner's time.
I mean, it's since then, and it add on.
Okay, it add on.
Yes.
Which means now is the strongest. The 0.3 million years ago, the people are all in nirvana state. Now gradually become worse, worse, worse. Because it keeps adding up.
Maybe another disintegratedness not is still there, not ripened yet.
Okay. Okay, this is the, just to wake you up, don't worry. Okay, sit down there, sit down umala. Sit down umala and then tenzi umala. Yeah? Tenzi umala, yes, no? Yes.
Geshe, I'll try a bit.
So these young, brilliant people, let me listen to them. I'm a little scared of them. Young ones. Yes.
Geshe, the acquired ignorance apprehending the flower is intrinsically real. It is coming through imputation from the subject. And the innate ignorance apprehending the flower is intrinsically real. It is coming through beginningless time. And we feel that it is coming from the object. So that's why it's not the root of samsara. And there was this one line that in the book, it says that...
Follow-up is allowed, not allowed. Because if you follow-up is allowed, then I want to interrupt right now. Because your question is still fresh here.
Yes,
allowed, not allowed.
But I don't think I can answer that. But allowed.
Okay. So what you said, okay, think about this. These are the original thoughts. What Siddhamala said is original thought. She's thinking. You're getting it? So what she said is that acquired is purely what the philosophically they have learned. It's it is coming from their own subjective, meaning that they know that I've learned it. They know that I've learned it. Whereas the innate one, you don't know that you don't know that it's really what your mind is thinking. Is more objective, intrinsic. I may not agree, but this is somebody who's thinking. These thoughts are coming. It's so precious. So it makes some sense, but you really go technically speaking, then let's say that let's say that say South Chandu school, they learn that the person exists intrinsically. Person exists intrinsically, there's acquired, innate both there, and they know that I learned it. And whereas for other people who are not influenced by philosophy, they have this grasping of these, the person is intrinsically real. But it's so real, it's so objectively real. So whatever is the case, the object of apprehension remains the same. Object of apprehension remains the same. So therefore, if one is classified as the root of samsara, then others should also be root of samsara. So why the example that I given earlier, saying that the self-grasping ignorance, the people who are not influenced by 10 systems, self-grasping ignorance which you have now, how is this? Is this something that you've inherited from many lifetimes? Innate one.
Yes.
What makes you think that you inherited from many lifetimes? Because this is a very fresh one. It was not existent even yesterday. Forget about many lifetimes. It was not even existed yesterday. But what made you grasp it? This because the imprint of the previous one. This is what it's saying. Whereas acquired one is not necessary because of that. So that influence is there, and sometimes you learn it. But it's innate one, you don't learn it. Just a pure imprint brings you to activate although it's fresh today, but this is what is activated from the pure imprint from the past lives. This is what he's saying. Okay, anyway, this is very good. Very good. Okay, now there's Omala.
I think innate means something which you believe spontaneously. And like from a baby, we don't have to learn anything.
Yes,
it's
that's
just,
true.
Everything is like coming from the object side. We are not even, everything we believe is from the object. So that doesn't, so that is our belief. Now my brain is hanging. But so when the projector is where we are like not aware it's coming from the projector, right?
Yes,
so that
yes.
needs to be stopped. But if you just believe like acquired stuff like, hey, this is impermanent and the projector is impermanent, those things not stopping the image. So the image, the object appearing real, it all remains. I think it's not. If it's acquired, it's not spontaneous. It's not.
Okay, let us work on one thing. Again, no, keep it with you. Okay, my question is that let's work on one thing. Instead of impermanence, let's say the self-grasping ignorance, there's the innate as well as the acquired. There are two. You agree? Self-grasping, grasping at the self person as intrinsic real, has innate, acquired both. You agree?
Yes.
Okay. So the acquired, and it is as powerful as the innate to be the root of samsara. Agree? Not agree? Not agree. If not, why?
It is powerful, but not as powerful as the innate, because innate, I think, is what actually your world, actually. Your world is because of the innate grasping, not because of the acquired one, because that's
okay, what
not
made
your belief.
what made you see all the phenomena? Oh, that's quite again. It's quite interesting. So the world that you are seeing is a pure projection that is happening because of the influence of the innate, not the acquired. That's interesting. So? Tinsidarwa, Tinsilu Kunda Tinginierwa, Tidarwa. The Batu Tomba, they tombing on and sharing with Estra. Sharing with Est. That Tinsidarwa, Tinsikunda Tingiga. Kunda Digi Korizawa Hajinchiyamare. Okay, so what this Omar is saying is quite heavy. Okay, that's quite interesting. Okay, we need to think about it. So what she's saying is all these same, like, say, you're being in the dream and you're affected by the dream, sadness, fear, all these things arise in the dream because of the projection of the dream. Who projects the dream? Your sleep projects the dream. So this sleep projects the dream. This sleep is not what you have learned from somebody. Let me say how to sleep. No, it's from since time immemorial. You have this sleeping system, the mechanism there. So likewise, what is that sleep like? That is the innate one, which you brought from the time immemorial, from there till today. So with the imprints, keep activating these innate ones. So that is the projector. That makes you to project the dream like all the phenomena, good, bad, nice. So, and then you are stirred into emotions. That is the innate one, not the acquired one. It's not the acquired one. So, acquired one is just to say that, so in the dream you say that, oh, this flower, and you buy it for 10 rupees in the dream. And then you want to sell it. Then you put a tag saying that is the 10,000 rupees discount, 50% discount. 10,000 rupees is now 5,000 rupees. Actually, the cost is only 10 rupees. So it's all philosophically, you just exaggerate. You exaggerate. In the dream, so you see the flower and how much did you pay? You know. Whereas how much in reality, how much you pay? Only 10 rupees. But then you exaggerate, you put a tag saying there is 50% discount. The rate is 10,000, you will get it for 5,000. This is just exaggerated. The reality is that the dream gives you the feeling that this is a real flower, full stop. That is one which creates all the chain of problem. So that is root. Who create the dream, that's the innate. That's amazing. Wow. Okay. Seems that there's a student of Arjuna here. Amazing. Congratulations. Wonderful. Amazing. Sometimes some people, they say something so profound, they don't know that it's profound. Whereas the Omala, I know, she knows that what she said is profound. She is very confident. But there's some people who say some very profound things, very profound, really profound, and they don't know that what they said. They don't know what they said. Whether it's profound or not, but they don't know. There's some of them I've met in my life. Okay, so let's continue. So it says that the last paragraph, that fourth line, what binds all living beings in cyclic existence is the innate ignorance. Acquired ignorance exists only among those who advocate philosophical tenets, so it cannot be the root of cyclic existence. It is extremely important to gain specific and definite knowledge of this point. This is very important. This is very important, and particularly keep in mind what Tenzin Omala said. Tenzin Omala, you should become a scholar here in Drepung Loseling Monastery. Okay, next, page 212. Hence, the ultimate wrong conceptual, ultimate or the final wrong concept, not ultimate distance or ultimate reality, is the final wrong conceptual consciousness or the root that conceives the object negation is the innate ignorance, which is the first of the 12 factors of dependent arising. Acquired objects, okay, acquired objects of negation, for example, like alivijnana and so forth, these are just philosophically acquired, are merely superimpositions based on this. Thus, it is not at all the case. It is not at all the case that the reason negate. Okay, all of just keep it there, without deleting it. Just imagine that you ignore this. It is not at all the case that reason negates the cognitive processes through which non-conceptual consciousnesses and the apprehend things. Thus, it is okay. So this reason, this is a little tricky there. So the reason is in Tibetan it is the rigpa. Rigpa can be understood in several ways. One is rigpa is just a reason. For example, like what reason do you have to say that I'm stupid? What reason do you have? This is a very simple reason. This is not the reason that we're talking about here. Reason to establish emptiness. This is the reason here. Reasoning to establish emptiness is the very specific reason, or we talk about the ultimate analysis. So it says that, thus it is not at all the case that reasons negate all of the cognitive processes through which non-conceptual consciousnesses, sensory consciousness, apprehends things. So it is saying that that non-concept, such as sensory consciousness, the reason analyzing emptiness, it rejects what? Hey, tell me. Reason analyzing the ultimate, it rejects what? Objective negation. What's objective negation? Intrinsic existence. And tell me, which mind apprehends the intrinsic existence? Sensory mind or mental consciousness? Huh? Okay, this is a very serious question. Say, the reason to establish emptiness or ultimate analysis, or reason to establish emptiness, rejects what? It rejects object negation, that is, intrinsic existence as object negation. This is rejected. Intrinsic existence is apprehended by which mind? Sensory or mental consciousness? Sensory consciousness or mental consciousness, or both? Apprehended by intrinsic existence is apprehended by sensory consciousness. Anyone else? Okay, so there are three things. Apprehended by consciousness, but
the object of negation, which is intrinsic existence, that is the object of negations, which is apprehended by conceptual consciousness, but the intrinsic existence also appears to sensory consciousness. In this case,
how many agree with Garav Dujila? Okay, the answer is 100% correct. 100% correct.
Thank you.
Okay, so this is very important. Let's see that intrinsic existence appears to all the minds except for the mind which realizes emptiness directly. So intrinsic existence never appears to the mind realizing emptiness directly. Otherwise, any other mind, all the Buddha's minds, they should necessarily be mind realizing emptiness directly. So, which means if it does the same, if there is a mind which does not see emptiness directly, it should be the sentient being's mind. To all the sentient beings' minds except for the direct realization of emptiness, otherwise any mind, intrinsic existence must appear to the sensory consciousness, to the mental consciousness, to all minds. Okay, the next question is, it appears. So when you talk about the mind interacting with the object, when you talk about the mind interacting with the object, the interaction happens based on how many activities? 2. What are they? Appearance and apprehension. Very good. Appearance and apprehension. So, on the appearance level, to all the minds which do not see the emptiness directly, intrinsic reality necessarily appears. But these minds may not apprehend intrinsic reality. Now my question is that which are the minds which do not apprehend, which never apprehends which of the minds do not apprehend intrinsic reality at all? All the sensory consciousnesses never apprehend intrinsic existence. Intrinsic existence, the mind which apprehends intrinsic existence should necessarily be mental consciousness and more precisely conceptual mind. Let me repeat it. Intrinsic existence is always apprehended only by the mental consciousness and more precisely by the conceptual mind. In short, I can say that intrinsic existence is apprehended by only conceptual mind, or the mind which apprehends the intrinsic existence should necessarily be conceptual mind. Let me repeat it. A mind which apprehends intrinsic reality should necessarily be conceptual mind. It is never done by the sensory consciousnesses. Okay, now there's the fine line there. You can just note it down. We may not be able to get anything at the moment, but note it down for you later. Later, I don't know when later, 10 years later, 20 years later, 30 years, or next life later, so I don't know. But later that you can carry this book with you, maybe past life, next life, right? Oh, there's a note there. What is that note? According to for prasangika, object negation, emptiness appears to the sensory consciousness, to all the minds, except for the mind which realizes emptiness directly, including the sense consciousness. Object of negation of emptiness appears even to the sensory consciousness. But for Savatantra Madhyamaka, object negation of emptiness does not appear to the sensory consciousness. You're getting it? This is a very important distinction. Let me repeat it. One distinction between these two schools, two Madhyamikas, is that for Prasangika, object of negation of... Okay, is there anybody who likes to repeat what I said? Okay, yes, Pavandila. Mike?
Geshe, if I heard you correctly, according to Prasangika, the object of negation appears to all minds except the mind which realizes emptiness directly. So all minds, including sensory consciousnesses.
Perfect.
But for Svatantrika Madhyamika, object of negation of emptiness does not appear to sensory consciousness.
Never. never appears to sensory consciousness. This is a huge difference. You're getting it? Huge difference. And I'm not going to comment on this at all at the moment. And I will not also entertain these scholars. You know why? They'll give some answers. And they even don't believe in them, in those answers themselves. I'm very sure of that. Yes? If I ask them, for Svatana Madhyamika, why the object negation does not appear to the sense consciousness? Again, easy. Umarangi Belularwa, Tony Gashe, the Wanshil Hasnangi Mare. Gacha the Wanshil Menande, Tema wishing with the Randeli Shejin, the dear and the Vichiro, Larva. Kajinangi Mare. La, Menan de Menon Shrising there. Yakidizi in the hay. Gacha the Wanshil Menante.
You yonder Menot Menas.
Menot is a stand answer. Menot the Menon sure. Hey. Hey, the mic mata. Yakisun Yeshua.
Mazadi Lonemila Nayo Wangi Landi, Lonemila Nangdang the Geshe. Ani Wangshe Dinzogi Yul Kari Nangboyna, Pena Pombado Nangboyna, Chajigisuki, Pombanang Rulmando, Chamigisuki, Pombanang the Yomaris.
Chaminang Maris.
Oh.
And Chamimanana?
Chamimanana,
Maris. Menande, Kimjagare.
Tindrugi, now a lot is somebody, so Rangi Chashila, Madavisugi, now Sharish Koris. Our Ledans.
Pombanang Nangamara, one shella.
Nangi.
Pomba Chaminangro.
Chaminang, Chasnang Mare. The Bombato, dear Shawshun, to someone Yamdina.
Thank you, Luciwara. Pombano Chajinangro.
Chajanang.
Chaminang Mara.
Chaminang.
Dindunang Wara.
I did not know the Yankee
career. The Hasura, the Umarangular, the Chame Menana, or Chaji Sunamina, Ani Kasu Dendu Manangwede. Now alone, Chame Sunangwede.
That Dindru Ladi Koran, Zawe, and Rangi Chashela, Madimbi Chajik some Loch Horror.
The Tingular Chivarva.
The Tingular Desam is somebody.
Tesam in a Tingular Chivarva. So that Umarangular, but Tesam Marva. Umarangula, Bala, Ani Chame Tombato and Dindu to Chaka.
Did the Kawa?
Women Chesna, Tesam Remendua.
Nansu dinner.
And Nansu Tingular Tesam Image.
Nansu Desam
Minde. Minde.
Mazun and the Gasa, Umatangi Lula, any cut Londonigi Kesha Masha, Tanya Tabasongi Masivi Yulnangi, now I
did the Yavaduani.
The Chamig now Geshe where some Tangi Lula.
Minde.
Just Tangi Gasha and Kevoy.
So the Chame now the Imata, Tobeta wasn't put on the Shegobshire. Tobeta was the Chamin on the Shegobshire.
Tobeta was on now shall go with Tamar.
Minde.
Tobeta to the Kawashari.
But they didn't matter. Tobeta was a Maimba. The share is some other Chame now Shagobshire.
This of
Mahinde.
Tobeta was on now Maimba, you run the Lumon Drubline, the Chamig now than Kaga English.
Kawa Inzusho.
Kaga Inzu the Tamaraza Tobola Korangi Nansu the Keshe Orage. Tanya Tabasong gets Simba Maimba, you run the Lumon Drubala December.
Tobola now, December Chamesunam Beshir.
Tobo did that again.
There is no anything you will see what do.
Wanshela Legi, Tanda Nanda.
Wanshel Jiboro, Mahinde.
Wanshela Nala.
Wanshel Chamisun Chajes Nangrua.
Thank you. Inayang Tematu Nang Law again.
Karchino.
That the Tsuki Dubanang land, the calculation.
Tsudu that don't have the Kazatanda, the same the Kazo Umarangibichu Lagra.
The law in the Umarangiba Kyo Maris.
Korea Mare.
Ko Bombala True Marela, Bombarangi singing to now and True Maris.
So they say something, I don't know whether they really understand what they are saying. Okay. Okay, here. Jia.
Geshe, I'll try using the analogy that was used in Madhyamika that mentioned about the illusion of the elephant. So to the Sabbhatantrika Madhyamikas, they believe that there's something from the object side. So to them, the intrinsic, the object of negation is from the power of the cognition. So to them, the objective side still exists intrinsically. So they do not believe that as the object of negation. So it doesn't appear to their sensory consciousness. But for the Prasangika Madhyamika...
No, slowly.
Oh. So for the Prasangika Madhyamikas...
No, first, Madhyamaka.
So for the Sabbhatantrika Madhyamikas...
They believe in some objective existence.
Yeah, so they believe in some degree of objective existence.
Yes.
So on the conventional level, they believe that there's some intrinsic existence from the object side.
Yes.
So therefore, they feel that, and to them, the power of cognition is the one that they want to reject, which is through their apprehension, that they apprehend intrinsic existence. So that is the object of negation that they want to reject.
For Svatantra Madhyamaka, not intrinsic.
As in,
for them, intrinsic exists.
Intrinsic exists on the conventional level, but not on the ultimate level.
Yes.
So for them, the objective mode of the object negation is the objective mode of being without the power, without any imputation from the cognition.
Yes. So why can't that appear to the sense consciousness?
Because they believe that there's some degree of existence from the object side.
Yes.
So that object side to them, it is something that is not to be rejected.
Yes, it is not rejected. From what is the degree of objective existence is not rejected. So why should object negation not appear to the sensory consciousness?
Because the illusion to them is from the power of the cognition. So to them, the conceptual consciousness is the one that...
Okay, let me put it like this. I look at the flower and I say that the flower appears as they're truly real. So how would you reject me? So I say, you are Savatana Madhyamaka. And I say the flower appears to me as objectively real. Oh no, ultimately real.
Ultimately real.
Or truly real. So you say, no, that's not true.
Yeah, so to me, as a Prasangika, I would say that it appears to come from the object side.
No. Don't speak your philosophy to me. Reject my philosophy.
Okay, so
what I said, you would say, let's say you are Savatana Madhyamaka and I'm also Savatana Madhyamaka. But I believe that the flower does exist as truly to my eye consciousness.
Yeah, so the object exists truly on the conventional level to your eye consciousness.
Yes.
But because on the mental consciousness or the conceptual mind apprehends this object also as truly real.
Yes.
But this is the object of negation that they need to negate.
Yes, as apprehended.
Yeah, as apprehended.
By the conceptual mind.
Conceptual mind. Yeah.
As appeared to this sensory mind.
Yeah, so but the sensory mind, on the other hand, is not something that they are negating because it is from the object side.
So what's the problem? If it is from the object side, what's the problem? Why it cannot appear to sense consciousness?
It can, but it is not to be rejected by the Sabbhatantrika.
It appears
to
sense consciousness?
It appears to sensory consciousness, but...
So the flower appears as truly real to the sensory consciousness? Answer is no. This is the difference. Okay, I'm glad that... Okay, finally, Raviji. Okay, so these things, just keep a note. Make a note in your notebook, and once in a while, just look at this and keep increasing your knowledge. And whatever we learn, gradually, okay, study contemplation meditation, and see if it resonates with your thinking. Meanwhile, our hardware is being upgraded. As you keep studying, your hardware is automatically being upgraded gradually. When this upgraded gradually, your experience, things will start to make sense. And then with the meditation, not not only makes sense to you, you feel that is real. So then your concepts will become deeper, and then on that basis, why it appears, according to Prasangika, why it does not appear, because what you're talking about is different. What appears, object negation, although we talk about the same label, object negation, but object negation identified in Prasangika, identified in Sadhana Madhyamika is very different. So one which identified the Prasangika, it appears to your sense consciousness. One which identified the Sadhana Madhyamika, it does not appear to the sense consciousness. So that should make sense to you gradually. At least keep a note of them. This will be very helpful. Yes, Ravila.
Geshe, to your Prasangika Madhyamika, the object of appearance is always mistaken. And as it is always mistaken,
yes,
the sense, so it can never appear to the sense consciousness in the as a valid consciousness, as in a valid.
For Prasangika, you are right. Our mind is always mistaken with respect to the object of appearance, except for the mind seeing emptiness directly. This is true. So the question is, why? Or switch to the Sadhana Madhyamika, object negation never appears to the sense consciousness. Why not? So you can answer in any ways you like, two sides.
Because it's always non-dualistic to them.
Okay, that requires more thinking. Thank you, Ravish. Okay, we'll just continue one or two the paragraphs. The first paragraph 212. Hence, the ultimate wrong conceptual consciousness that conceives the object negation is the innate ignorance, which is the first of the 12 factors of dependent arising. Acquired objects of negation are merely superimpositions based on this. Thus, it is not at all the case, or just make it simple, it is not the case. It's not the case that the reason of ultimate analysis or reason of the ultimate reality. The reason to analyze the ultimate reality, the negates, which means that thus it is not the case. In other words, reason does not negate. Make it simple. Reason of analysis, ultimate analysis, does not negate the cognitive processes through which the non-conceptual consciousnesses apprehend things such as sensory. You're getting, in other words, ultimate analysis never rejects the objects apprehended by non-conceptual mind. Okay, ultimate analysis apprehends what? Ultimate analysis rejects what? Intrinsic existence. So which means that intrinsic existence, because the intrinsic existence is never apprehended by the non-conceptual mind, particularly sensory consciousnesses. So it is not apprehended by this mind. So therefore, ultimate analysis will not reject them. You're getting it? Reject the object of apprehension of the non-conceptual mind. This is very important. This message is that the self-grasping ignorance is always mental consciousness, particularly conceptual mind, not non-conceptual mind such as sensory consciousness. Let me repeat it. These two lines is actually in final say, what it's saying is that self-grasping ignorance is always conceptual. It cannot be non-conceptual. This is simple. How many understand it? Self-grasping ignorance is always conceptual. Cannot be sensory consciousness. This is the meaning, and it put it in different language. And then, but don't give up. You know this meaning. Take this with you, and then see if these two lines give you this impression, the understanding that self-grasping ignorance is only conceptual. Okay, good. Therefore, only conceptual mental consciousness have cognitive processes that are negated. Okay, what cognitive processes? Apprehending intrinsic existence. Let me repeat it. Therefore, only conceptual mental consciousness have cognitive process, meaning that it cognizes. Cognizes doesn't mean realize. It as the apprehend. Cognitive process meaning apprehension of intrinsic existence. Cognitive processes that are negated by reason. Which reason? Not reason in general. This is very confusing because I don't blame the translator. Tibetan word is Rigpa. But Rigpa, sometimes it should refer to a very specific Rigpa. Rigpa is the reason. reason of ultimate, reason to analyze ultimate, not reason in general. Okay, what's the problem if you keep it as a reason in general? Reason in general, can you reject the misperception taking place on the sensory conscious, on the level of sensory consciousness? Huh? Can reason reject? Can reason reject object as apprehended by the deceptive sensory consciousness? Huh? Chandila said yes. Give an example, Chandila. You see the rope as okay.
There's a rope and you see it as a snake, but then you think yesterday there was a rope there, so maybe it's not a snake. Or the light is dim, so it's not a snake.
Okay, first, so what, correct me if Chandil, if I got you wrong. There lies a rope and you misconceive a snake there. You getting it? Snake there, and you are so much in fear. And the next hour or next day, you said that I saw a snake there, and again they said there's no snake, it was a rope lying there. And then is it during the dusk time? I said yes. Then he takes me there. This is a snake that you saw as a snake. It's not a snake, it's a rope. You getting it? So he gives me the reason to convince that the deception happening on my sensory consciousness. What is the object of that deception of the sensory consciousness? Seeing the robe as snake. That is a deception. That is refuted by his reasoning to say that this is a robe. This is robe. This is not a snake. This is a robe. We have been keeping this robe lies there for the last 2 weeks. You're getting it? So the reasons can reject, but the reason here is not the reason, ordinary reasons. What is the reason? Reason of the ultimate. Reason analyzing whether or not things exist intrinsically. You're getting it? So in Tibetan, this is where there's English, English book written by English author. Then if I read it, if there's something there like Western philosophy and so forth, I cannot take for granted how I understand this. I have to double check with the native English speakers, because there are nuances which people like me, we cannot pick up nuances in the language, English language, because I'm not brought up in the English language, the proper English language environment. So therefore, Tibetan also, there are nuances which need to be really double checked. Okay, good. And more specifically, a reason refutes the cognitive process of the two conceptions of self. What two conceptions of self? Selfhood of person and self of phenomena, and the cognitive process of those conceptual consciousnesses that superimpose further attributes on objects that have been imputed by those two conceptions of self. So, it is not that reason refutes, reason of the ultimate, refutes the cognitive process of all conceptual consciousnesses of any kind. So the conclusion here is that the reason of the ultimate, it is not that. Reason of the ultimate does not refute, does not refute, it is not. It is not, this word, you take it down, it's easier to understand. The reason of ultimate does not refute all cognitive processes of all conceptual consciousness. What is meant by that? Okay, it's English. I'm going to read it. It is not the, okay, I'm reading what the translator translated. It is not that the reason of ultimate analysis, it is not that the reason of ultimate analysis refutes the cognitive process of all conceptual consciousness of any kind. You understood something? Ashwin, you understood something? Yes. Okay. Mike, Ashwin. Ashwin, present.
Yes, Kishla. What I understood is that ultimate analysis does not refute the objects of all conceptual minds, but only the conceptual minds viewing self-grasping, or rather viewing objects as intrinsically real.
Very good. Ashwin got it. So, conceptual mind. Is it that all conceptual minds are deceptive minds? Hey, NMC1, NMC2, wake up. Is it that all conceptual minds are deceptive mind? Huh? All conceptual minds are deceptive mind or not? Huh? No, just give answer to my question. I said, is it that all conceptual minds are deceptive mind? Huh? Louder. No. So they are not deceptive, but they are mistaken. You getting it? So you can reject the object of this, the conceptual minds which are deceptive. You cannot reject the object of the apprehension of the conceptual minds which are non-deceptive. You can reject. It's not that all the objects of apprehension of the conceptual mind is not that object of apprehension of all the conceptual minds can be rejected. You cannot reject. Some are valid, some are not valid. Those which are not valid can be rejected. Those which are valid cannot be rejected. So therefore, in the past, amongst it, not only past, even today also, there are some Tibetan scholars who believe that all conceptual minds are to be rejected. You're getting it? So this is said not because Lama Tsongkhapa wants to say something, it's because there are people who believe in this. All conceptual minds should be rejected. So whether the cloud is black or white, it doesn't matter. It blocks the sun. It blocks the vision of the sun. This is what they say. All conceptual minds to be rejected. So Lama Tsongkhapa says, no. You need to make a distinction between conceptual minds whose apprehension of objects are deceptive, whose objects of apprehension are mistaken, and whose objects of apprehension are not mistaken. Existent, non-existent. Those whose object of apprehension are the non-existent, you can reject them. Those whose object of apprehension are existent, you cannot reject them. Okay, this is what Lama Tsongkhapa was saying. It is not that reason of analysis, reason of refuse the cognitive processes of all conceptual cognitive processes, meaning the apprehension cannot refute the apprehension of all the conceptual consciousnesses, because they are consciousnesses, conceptual consciousnesses which are valid with respect to the object of their conceptual minds which are valid with respect to the object of apprehension. They are. It's not that all conceptual minds are invalid with respect to the object of apprehension. No. Okay, this is a big message for us not to fall the trap to these things. So sometimes I'm lost in dilemma. You know why? Because people study these things, they're quite intelligent. They're quite intelligent. Oh, this is amazing. You really need to say open up. You really need to enrich your cognitive thinking. Finally, you really need to become independent. Cognitive thinking gives you independence. The refined thinking gives you independence in thinking. For example, Albert Einstein, with physics, he's so independent. You agree? With physics, he's so independent. You agree? Very independent, right? Even if there are thousands of PhD students in physics, he will just, with his smile, look at his confidence. There's such a confidence there because of his cognitive ability. So cognitive ability gives you the confidence. Very experienced people, for example, like building with the buildings, music, or there's the music. For example, Mozart comes and somebody is playing the music. He just looks at it like this. He would just see which is good, which is not good. Just see everything. So cognitive awakening gives you the confidence. This is so precious. Some people know this. And suddenly they meet with some gurus, strange gurus, who said that this is all rubbish, all studies are rubbish, and they follow blindly. I don't understand this. So for example, it is like say that you have how many of you know that when you're hungry you have to go to the kitchen, don't pray to Buddha? Raise hands. And these people, suddenly you meet a guru who said that when you're hungry, pray to Buddha. Then food will come, magically come. Magic will come. Yeah, it happened. It happened. Somebody came with the bread and asked, Geshe, do you want to have bread? I prayed to Buddha and it came. If for bread, don't pray to Buddha. Go to kitchen. For Buddha, pray for the wisdom of emptiness. Please let me not be deviated from the wisdom of emptiness. Study, contemplation, meditation. Let me be in this direction, so that I become independent in my thinking, so that I can help so many people. So, the Bodhisattva Shantideva said, all these branches of teachings the Buddha gave, they are for to awaken your wisdom. Then Acharya Dharmakirti said, the only liberating path is the emptiness concept, and the rest of the teachings they are for that purpose, to awaken, to enrich this wisdom. This is it. And then yet people, I don't understand it. So maybe lack of merit. Okay, let me quickly finish this the page and we'll stop here. Next question. How does ignorance superimpose intrinsic nature? So now it's pretty easy for us. So the self-grasping ignorance, how does it superimpose, or how does it exaggerate, refine intrinsic existence, which is actually non-existent? Reply. In general, there appear in Acharya Chandrakirti's text many usages of verbal conventions such as nature, essence. These vocabularies are there with regard to objects that exist only conventionally, and these are the vocabularies that you see. However, here in the case of reification and ignorance, that is with regard to the objects, be they persons or other phenomena, a conception that those phenomena have ontological status, meaning ontological and epistemological. Ontological meaning object, epistemological meaning the subject. Ontologically, objectively. What is objective, what is there? And you give a status, the objective, something is there, a way of existing in and of themselves. What is in and of themselves? Intrinsic, in and of themselves. This is the vocabulary Rangunguniyapa in Tibetan. In and of themselves, intrinsic, without being posited through the force of an awareness. The referent object that is thus apprehended by that ignorant conception, the independent ontological status. Independent meaning something independent of your mind, and the ontology means from the object. Ontological versus epistemological. Ontological status of those phenomena is identified as a hypothetical self. Self, okay, this word self has two meanings. We studied already, self as a person or self as an object negation, intrinsic nature. Self or intrinsic nature. For Arideva's 400 stanza says, all of this is without its own power meaning independent power. Therefore, there's no self or there's no selfhood. So this self is not a person, it's the intrinsic nature. Commenting on this, Acharya Chandrakirti's commentary on the 400 stanza says, it is that which exists essentially, intrinsically, autonomously, and without depending on another. Thus, he says that those are synonyms. Okay, look at these, the synonyms that and Lama Tsongkhapa's text is very authoritative standard. So we need to identify what are the synonyms that that are being used to describe what is intrinsic, without depending on another. Okay, look here, with the synonyms without depending on another. So this doesn't mean not depending on cause. This is a very important point. So when I say not dependent on, for example, like according to Chitta Mantra, other powered nature. What is other powered nature? Something which exists by dependence on the power of other causes and conditions. So this dependency, according to Chitta Mantra, is purely the dependence on the causes and conditions. But here, Lama Tsongkhapa says that here, without depending on other, it doesn't mean not dependence on the other causes and conditions. Then what? It doesn't mean not depending on causes and conditions. Instead, other here refers to this subject, your mind. Not dependence on the mind. This is for the Madhyamakas. That is a conventional consciousness. Something is said not to depend on another due to not being positive to the force of that conventional consciousness. Therefore, autonomously, these are the words, autonomously, intrinsically, and so forth. Autonomously refers to the nature of the object that has its own unique ontological status. Own unique meaning independent of the subjective imputation, manner of being. It is just this that is called essence or intrinsic nature. Take, for example, the case of an imaginary snake, okay, and that is mistakenly ascribed to a rope. If you leave aside how it is ascribed from the perspective that apprehends a snake and try to analyze what a snake is like in terms of its own nature from the snake, if you try to analyze that from its own nature, objective nature, since the snake is simply not present in that object, its features cannot be analyzed. It is similar with regard to these phenomena. Suppose that we leave aside analysis of how they appear, keeping aside the appearance, that is how they appear to a conventional awareness, and analyze the objects themselves. So instead of themselves, it should be, the Tibetan word is niluk, is objective entity, objective nature. So this is where the translators are huge response. Otherwise, it can easily, particularly people who are fully dependent on English, they will totally get lost or can be misled. And analyze objects themselves, it's not themselves. Tibetan word is niluk. Objects, analyze the things instead of the objects, analyze the things with the objective nature. With the objective nature, it has a connotation of objective nature, connotation of intrinsic. Okay, these are the keys. But objects themselves, it does not have the intrinsic connotation. Asking what is the manner of being of these phenomena? So from the objective nature, we find they are not established in any way. So now look, they are not established in any way of the objective nature. So ignorance does not apprehend phenomena in this way. Ignorance does not say, while it is not exist in this way, but the ignorance does not view them as empty of such a existence, intrinsic existence. Rather, it apprehends the opposite way, that it exists as intrinsically real. While they don't exist that way, but the ignorance apprehends in the opposite way. It apprehends each phenomenon as having a nature of being such that it can be understood in and of itself. This is key. In and of itself. This is ignorance. Without being posited through the force of conventional consciousness. Acharya Chandragiri's commentary on the 400 stanza says, okay, we'll stop here. Okay, dedication, page 55. So tomorrow we will try to quickly finish the remaining part of this chapter, then we'll jump to chapter 22. So those of you who would get a little bit of time for your own reading, you just read chapter 22. So this will give you some preparation for you. That is more like application side. Thus far is more like fine-tuning, like for a computer. For a computer, who knows the computer sense? Oh, I know, I've seen computer. This is one. I know how to use computer. Number two, I know the coding behind that. Number three, I know how the electrons, protons, they move. How the signals move from in the circuits. How I know there are various levels. You're getting it? So likewise, today is more like knowing the computer on a very subtle level, how the signals move or how the coding works. Now, tomorrow is the application part. That is, what is that? The BCA. What is BCA? Bachelor's in Computer Application, right? So tomorrow is that course, MCA or BCA. Application side tomorrow. That will be easier for us because we'll not learn the coding part. Coding part is done. Okay. Page 55. In the land encircled by snow mountains, you are the source of all happiness good. All-powerful Chenmo say Tenzin Gyatso, please remain until samsara ends. Just as the British Manchurian Samadabhata too, realizing says they are. Also I dedicate all these merits in the best way, that I may follow their perfect example. I dedicate all these rules of virtue with the dedication praised as the best, by all the Buddhas who appear in the 3 times, so that I might perform the noble Bodhisattva's deeds. I dedicate the merit thus gathered towards the realization of the deeds and the prayers of Buddhas and Bodhisattvas of 3 times, and to the upholding of the doctrine, scripture, and insight. May in all lives, through the force of this merit, never separate from the 4 wheels of the Mahayana vehicle, and accomplish all the stages of the path, renunciation, bodhicitta, perfect and the 2 stages. Having dispelled all inner and outer obstacles and downfalls, such as poverty, despair, oppression, cruelty, epidemics, and natural disasters due to environmental degradation, all beings forever enjoy the glory of peace and happiness. Inspired by wisdom and compassion, today in the Buddha's presence, I generate the mind of full awakening for the benefit of all sentient beings. May I spend day and night carefully reflecting by what means can enhance his teaching, achieved by the Supreme Savior through strenuous efforts over countless eons. From my 2 collections, vast space that I've amassed, from working with effort, this practice for a great length of time, may I become the chief leading Buddha for all those whose minds wisdom is blinded by ignorance. Tobge tuje shagere so to shenge meto dege bonjamba serge lumbo tabo Jebeko Chaye Yebo Tela Chaselo Mone Mone Mahamuna Yeswa Mahamuna Swaha Om Muni Muni 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 Mahamuna Swaha. 3 processions together.
Om Muni Muni Maha Muni Swaha. Om Muni Muni Maha Muni Swaha. Om Muni Muni Maha Muniye 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 Swaha. Om